Hello, you're watching Encore here on France 24. I'm Richelle Harrison Plesse. Coming up. He's a theatre giant with a career that spans some 5 decades. Today, we meet acclaimed German theatre and opera director Peter Stein, who has tackled the classics, provocative political drama and opera. Now he's in Paris leading a French production of Samuel Beckett's Krapps' Last Tape, starring French acting heavyweight Jacques Weber as a solitary man who ponders his lost self. Peter Stein, a very warm welcome to the show today.
Thank you.
And now you're directing a play at the Théâtre de l'Œuvre here in Paris, Samuel Beckett's Krapps' Last Tape. The one-act, one-man play will be performed in French under the French title La Dernière Bande. Can you tell us more about the piece?
Well, the piece seems to be a monologue, but in reality, this is the fantastic invention of Beckett, who wrote the play in '58. That the man who is alone on stage at the end of his life, it is last tape that he would like to record, that he is listening to another tape who he did on his birthday 30 years ago. So there's a second person on stage. You hear through the loudspeaker the presence of this young man, a younger man, and he is reacting on that. And the aim of the whole play is that to show a man at the end of his life who got rid with all the illusions, all the thoughts, all the things that he wanted to do and never did really. It is a very liveful thing, and not like normally the monologues that I hate monologues because they are very boring. And for me, theater is at least with two persons who enter and say, "I am the stronger, you no," and the other says, "No, I'm the stronger," and then start to fight. That's theater.
Okay, well, in the play, it stars Jacques Weber, a French acting giant. You've worked with him before. What was it like to be reunited with him?
It was wonderful. Therefore, I proposed it. It was my proposition to do this show with the producer Frédéric Franck. Why? Because I worked with him on a play of Eugène Labiche about 2 or 3 years ago, Le Prix Martin, and this collaboration was very, very, very funny and very good. And he also, this is clearly, he likes me, and this is important.
You like each other. That's important, isn't it?
You see, the situation for an actor is always a little bit difficult because there's a director who pretends to tell to the actors what he has to do. And, be the strong man, I don't know what. And so the relationship between an actor and a director is not so easy. And in this case, I feel an enormous calling for me that I should work with him and help him.
Well, let's take a quick look. This is a snippet from Samuel Beckett's Krapps' Last Tape, directed by Peter Stein.
Viens juste d'écouter ce pauvre petit crétin pour qui je me prenais il y a 30 ans. Difficile de croire que j'ai jamais été con à ce point-là. Ça, au moins, c'est fini. Dieu merci.
Well, that's Jacques Weber in Krapps' Last Tape, also known as La Dernière Bande here in France. So it's not the first time you've directed this play. I believe most recently was at the Enniskillen International Beckett Festival a couple of years ago. What are the challenges of working with material that you know so well, but in a language that is not your own? Do you have to approach things differently, or?
Oh, this is exactly the fun, because totally new elements, a new sensibility, also a new erotic is coming out if you do things in different languages. And so it becomes even more, the experience with the play becomes even more richer. Because for me, I do this job now for 50 years because I am interested in the play, in the authors who make propositions for the theater, and in the actors. And so, if the actor has a totally different language background, you earn so many things, special things, new, and it enriches your experience of the play, what is my most biggest interest.
Okay, well, you've had such a varied and stunning career. You've tackled classics, you've tackled operas. You were head of the influential Schaubühne Theatre in Berlin for some 15 years throughout the 70s and the first half of the 80s. What's the difference between directing a piece of opera and directing a piece of theatre?
In a certain way, there is no difference for me. The only thing is that you have to respect other things. They have to respect that the singers have to sing. And this needs a certain kind of physical behavior that must be respected. Also, the laws of acoustic must be respected. But beside that, I try, together with the actors, to convince them and myself that by acting out the sense of the singing, the intellectual sense also of the singing, it improves the singing itself. And this is what we try, the singers and I together. And sometimes it works, sometimes not. It's not the same thing. But for me, the working in opera has the big advantage also that I'm not the leading guy. In the opera, the music is the leading factor, and the musical director is the main person, because he will be also present during the show, and I don't know where I will be during the show. And so, for me, I'm the second man, and this is a very nice position. You have not the whole responsibility, but you can help. You can also enjoy what's going on. You can enjoy the music, simply listening, and losing the memory that you have to do something. And so, I like it very much.
Let's take a look at an opera that you directed. This is Debussy's Pelléas et Mélisande at the Welsh National Opera in 1992.
Pourquoi pleures-tu? N'aie pas peur, vous n'avez rien à craindre. Pourquoi pleurez-vous ici, toute seule? Ne me touchez pas, ne me touchez pas. N'ayez pas peur, je ne vous ferai pas. Oh, vous êtes belle. Ne me touchez pas, ou je me jette à l'eau.
Now, I want to ask you about a quote I saw in The Guardian. You told them that you do tragedy well because you're German and you don't have a sense of humour. So I'd like to know what makes you laugh out loud. What gives you a big belly laugh?
It's clear that in any kind of public speaking, there's a kind of coquetry. And so it's clear if I say I have no sense of humor, that means this is not my specialty. But sometimes people say that I'm on the other side. I have quite a good sense of humor. What we can see also in the Krapp last tape, that we will see, because there is a comic element, even a clownesque element in the play. But I was always so, because it is of my studying. I studied ancient Greek and archaeology, and so I'm very much interested in the Greek tragedy. Why? Because there the theater was founded. This is the basis. And everything what developed later through the 2,500 years is already enshrined there in these plays. And so if you understand the Greek tragedy, you understand much more deeply the theater.
Okay, well, you're known for directing some politically charged pieces throughout your career. Are there any current political issues that you could see yourself touching on for future projects?
For me, the actual political features are to be coped with in the practical life. I have big problems with the so-called actualization of everything, because then if you do so, you destroy the structure of the plays, because Hamlet is not our contemporary. Hamlet is a figure who is much older, and his story involves, where he is involved, is only interesting, and you can only tell it if you respect the distance. The interesting thing is that through the distance, in the classics, especially in the classics, because they are classic, but they prove themselves that they are interesting for all the centuries when they were created up to now. And so there you have to work out that the spectators by themselves can understand the bridges of the actuality, and not by letting them taking cell phones or computers or things like that, because we have a different life than these old stories, and the old stories have their own world, and this world is interesting.
Okay, well, unfortunately, we're going to have to leave it there, Peter. But before we go, we do ask each of our guests to choose a piece of art that they love. Peter, you have chosen The Jungle Book by Rudyard Kipling. Many of us know the classic 1967 Walt Disney version. It's now been reinvented for a new live-action reboot. Why did you choose this piece?
Because it's a long history. One of the first films, perhaps the second film that I saw, was The Jungle Book with Mowgli, with an Indian young guy, but in the real forest. We are now in the late 40s. And then came the Jungle Book in animation, and now Walt Disney make a new version with only a little guy and with computer. And I must say, it is so touching, and it's intelligent done, and it has humor, and it has emotion, and perhaps I'm too infantile, I don't know, but for me it was a big favorite. But it is now my favorite. But tomorrow perhaps it's something else.
Perhaps it'll be something else. Well, Peter Stein, thank you so much for being here with us on Encore today.
Thank
you.
Reminder
to those at home that Krapp's last tape, or La Dernière Bande, is currently on at the Théâtre de l'Œuvre here in Paris. Well, we'll leave you with a clip of the new Jon Favreau film, The Jungle Book, and you can also catch our interview with the movie's star and director on our website, France24.com. Well, stay with us here on France 24. Lots more coming up after this.
Come on, Mowgli, let's be on our way.
But I'm helping Baloo get ready for hibernation.
Bears don't hibernate in a jungle.
Not full hibernation, but I nap a lot.